Everything okay? Good to see you. Sorry I haven't been able to say hello. Haven't sort of got a drink.
It's like the press conference, eh? And now you're
I'm
sitting
sorry.
there.
I'm not over
there.
there. You're okay. You're okay.
Big clock.
I know. Timing is everything.
Absolutely.
So help yourself to water and everything.
Yeah,
Luckily
I
I don't have to ask the questions tonight. I'm okay.
I never drink water during the press conference.
Yeah, but a couple of minutes and then we'll be getting underway.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Just to begin with, I'd say if you want
Thank
to say
you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2025 pre-season Albion Fans Forum. We're coming to you live from the American Express Community Stadium on BBC Radio Sussex and the club's YouTube channel. Plenty to discuss this evening, so hopefully you've got plenty of questions. First, though, let's give a warm round of applause and a big welcome to our panel this evening. Deputy Chairman Paul Barber. And, of course, the man who's looking to build on his brilliant first season in the Premier League, the Seagulls head coach, Fabian Hurzeler. Well, that's not a bad reception, is it? Well, not every fan gets the opportunity to do this. And just a reminder that 60 minutes goes very, very quickly indeed. So don't be shy. Raise your hand. Adrian and Sophia are around the room, so they'll come over to you with a microphone. If you are able to stand, if you could do so that we can hear and see you live on the YouTube channel as well, that would be much appreciated as well. If it's not obvious, do say who your question is for, but if you can keep it tight, that would be great because we want everybody to get the opportunity to ask a question. But first, I just want to open it up to Fabian to maybe say a few words. Does it feel a little bit different this year, Fabian? This is your second fans forum here before the season. Obviously, a lot's happened since then.
Yeah, the applause was louder, so
I'm
not sure if I deserve that, but thanks a lot for this warm welcome, and I want to use the first moment to thank you for your support the last season. I think not everything was great. I think we lacked in some moments consistency in our performances, consistency in our results. But what I always felt was your support. What we felt was your support. You were always there in critical moments, in good moments. You made our away games to home games. You made these home games here to a very special event for us. You were always there for us. You're our 12th man. I think we should continue on this support because it felt great. So a lot thank you for doing this, for showing so much effort, for traveling, for spending a lot of money, for spending a lot of time to support us. And there was a great example. We just had a friendly game in Southampton, and I think the stadium was quite empty, but one sector was full. There was the away end, and it shows your support. It shows that you're always there for the team, and I think that's something very special. So big thank you. And
sorry, go on.
You asked me about the new season, so I'm looking forward for the new season. I think that we try to build on the foundation we built in the last season. Like I said, we want to be more consistent in everything what we are doing. We want to commit ourselves. We want to commit to our goals. So therefore, I'm really looking forward, and I'm sure with your support, we can play an even better season like we played the last season. So let's go forward and let's try to achieve something special.
Brilliant. Okay, let's dive straight into the audience then, just on the left-hand side, 4 rows back, just next to Adrian there.
Hello, Monica. Hi, lovely to meet you, Fabian. And you're even younger in the flesh, actually. So. Just to say, you are the youngest manager, and you still remain the youngest manager in the Premier League. And when you came, you said, "I'm here to learn." On reflection, and this isn't an interview question because you clearly have the job, what have you learnt from the Premier League, about the club, and more importantly about yourself over the first season? Thank you.
Great question.
Really good question. So I think because my skin is the sun from Marbella, so we had some nice days in the training camp there and we enjoyed it. It was quite sunny. To answer your question, so for me personal, I think one very important attitude is to stay predictable, and to be honest, sometimes not that easy to be and stay predictable, to not get too euphoric when you have a good run, to not get too depressive when you have a bad run of results. And like I said, the last season was a lot of roller coaster, and there was up, there was downs. But one thing what I really learned, and that was something special, that the club always stayed very stable. So the persons who are responsible for the club, they never overreacted when we had a bad run. They never get too euphoric when we had like 6 or 7 wins in a row. And that made my job much easier, and that gave me like a message and a sign: stay predictable, don't get too emotional, involved into things, try to find rational solutions. So that was my personal takeaway. A takeaway for this whole club was we showed always a togetherness. So no matter if we had a big loss against Nottingham, no matter if we had like, I think 6-7 games in a row where we weren't able to win, we always stayed together. We always showed the right reactions on these bad experiences we had. And you can only show these great reactions if you have like a great togetherness, if you have the right characters in this group, and we have these right characters in this group. We have it with the players, we have it with my staff members, we have it with the persons who are responsible, with Paul, with Tony, with David. So therefore, it really like give me a good feeling that we have a great togetherness here, and that makes this club so special. Together with you as the fans, with the supporters, we feel we are all sitting in the same boat, and with this feeling, with this value, you can achieve big things. And I think that's always the base where we really should build on doing great things.
Okay, lovely. Great first question. Right, let's head to the right-hand side, just down there with Sophia.
Oh.
You spilt your beer already.
Oh.
It's only 7:10.
Rookie error, that. I suggested I ask whether we're going to win the league this year, but I think that's quite a difficult question to ask, so I won't ask that. You touched on the lack of consistency at times last season. Obviously, we had some very, very, very good results, particularly I can remember Liverpool at home and Man City at home. But there were a number of games last year, particularly the 2 Leicester games and Wolverhampton at home, where we were 2 goals up going into the last 5-10 minutes of the games, and we didn't come out with a victory in those games. And there are others throughout the season as well. I think Ipswich at home, which was 0-0, Everton at home, which was a 1-0 defeat. Do you think that inconsistency and the results in those games was down to a skill issue, a mentality issue, or an issue of a lack of experience amongst some members of the squad? Because it is still true that we talk about how young you are, but actually the squad is still very young itself. So which of those would you say is, and what do you think you can put in place this season to address that so we don't have a repeat next season?
So when I arrived here, I used the phrases, we want to challenge the establishment. And I think we did it, but we did it not in a consistent way. So what I mean with that, when we face the big teams, like you just said, like Liverpool, City, we are always the challenger. We as Brighton, we are the challenger. And we have this mindset, like going into the game without any fear, with a big belief in ourselves that we can beat everyone, and we prove that. And then there are the games where you have the teams from a lower position in the table, and I think sometimes we had a lack of this mindset, of this challenger mindset. What I mean with having the challenger mindset is like doing the extra work in the shadow, being always on the toe, sprinting when you don't know the distance. So all these what a challenger has in his mind, what a challenger does to prepare, sometimes I had the feeling we had a lack of this, and therefore we weren't able to really finish these games or to play these games in a mature way. And I think it's a mindset thing. So how you come into the game, how you go into the game, and how you finish the game. And therefore really try to have always this mindset of a challenger, so that we're always ready to do the extra work in the shadow, always ready to sprint, always ready to make this personal duel when we need to make this personal duel. And the second thing, of course, there were a lot of players who are young, so they had to learn. They did mistakes. We did mistakes in the game management. I did mistakes. But now it's important to learn from this mistake. So we can't say anymore we have to learn from mistakes. We are all one step further. We are all more mature. We all should be one step further regarding game management. And therefore, the hope, and it shouldn't be a hope, it should be like my biggest belief and my conviction that we are there in our development regarding game management one step further, and I'm sure that we will prove it this season.
Okay, Paul, I think you just want to add something to that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all.
We like to get him involved.
Thank you.
He's feeling a bit out on
I was
a
feeling a
limb
bit
there.
left out.
Yeah.
You know, no one said you look younger in the flesh to me. Surely one person might say that, just one. Thank you. Listen, he's not going to say it, but I will. You know, 75% of our games last season were won or drawn. 75% in the Premier League. We lost 9 games all season. We finished 8th, our second highest ever finish. I think that's pretty consistent. Yeah. And I think there were only 3, maybe 4 teams in the Premier League that actually lost less games, and they were teams that finished in the top 2, 3, 4 positions. So, you know, the Premier League's tough. It's really tough to do what Fabian has to do with the resources we have. You know, we're still competing with some of the biggest clubs, not just in the UK, but in the world, and some of the biggest budgets in the world. And how we do that means that there are going to be times when those young players are going to suffer a little bit. They're going to be under a lot of pressure. They're not going to necessarily maintain the kind of consistent form that we'd all hope for. But it's very, very hard to go through a Premier League season winning or drawing 75% of your games. So, you know, for me, Fabian and the squad deserve a huge amount of credit for that.
Okay, let's head to the back of the room there. There was someone there with Adrian.
Hello, I'm Zach. My question is for Fabian. What would you prefer this season? Finish in the top 6 or win a trophy?
How about both?
I want to be a winner, so winning a trophy is always something special. And that's my answer.
I'll take that.
I think winning a trophy brings you also to Europe. So I take winning a trophy.
Okay, Jamie, I think we'll come to you in a second when we get a mic to you. So if you just sit yourself down, and Adrian will pop over to you in a second, but we're just going to take a question down here on the right-hand side with Sophia. But we'll come to you next.
Good evening, my name's Paul. Question is for Fabian. We've got a few new players this season. I've seen Brascali and the Italian lad, but at present we haven't seen the 2 Greek players or Tommy Watson. Could you kind of give us an update as to when we're likely to see them in an Albion shirt?
So first of all, we're all very happy that we have bought or get this very young talent players, but also experienced players with, for example, Oli Boscagli. They all have special character, really good character. They all have a very good profile and big potential. I can't give you a clear timeline when you will see them. So overall, they are back in training. They trained since 3-4 days. And I think that's important. They are coming from a different culture. They need time to adapt to the intensity. They need time to adapt to our style of play. And we need to give them this time. We shouldn't force them to do anything. So it's going step by step. But like I said, overall, they're doing great things in training. Today, they all trained. They showed great effort. They showed good stuff in the training. I'm sure that they will get some minutes on Saturday against Wolfsburg. But when we see them in the Premier League game, I can't give you a clear answer, but I'm sure we try and they try to be on the pitch as quick as possible and help us as a club.
Okay, great. Okay, well, let's just head to Adrian there with Jamie.
Hi, yeah, hello, my name is Jamie here. It's a question for Paul Barber. In the future, can Brighton play against a Scottish team or a French team in a Premier? Because I know before we did that in 2017-2018 season, and it would be good to play a mother French team here and a Scottish team here. Would that be could that be a probability in the future, Paul?
So is it a possibility to play either a Scottish or what was the other?
Team or Scottish team here.
Scottish team here.
At the Amex, in a pre-season
Scottish
friendly.
team.
Yeah, I mean, pre-season there's been a bit of a debate about pre-season camps. Obviously this time you went to Spain, kept it quite low-key, you've been to Japan, whatever. I guess it's
always a balance between which teams are available, what teams Fabian wants and the coaching staff want to help their preparations for the new season. So it's not always as easy as you think just to sort of pick a team that you want to play and they're available and we can play them here. And obviously then there's the commercial arrangements. Teams usually want fees to pay to play games, and obviously we want to make sure those games are as attractive as possible. So certainly take your comments on board. Thank you for that, and we'll look into it for you for the future.
okay.
Thank you.
Just down here in the third row, the lady there with Sophia.
Good evening. My question's for Fabian. Now that João Pedro has left the club, could you tell us going forward this season who the nominated penalty taker is likely to be?
Oh. Straight in. Boom.
It's a really good question because I have to think about it as well. So at the moment, we are training penalties as well in training. So to find out who can replace him by doing great and safe penalties. But I still have 1.5 weeks to go, so I will give you the answer when I know it.
I think there's a video going around of Fabian taking a penalty somewhere, but I don't want to stress that too much of what happened. But
I scored one.
Yeah, he did score one. Okay, all right. Adrian, you got someone there just down there on the... Okay, well, let's go to Sophia. Sophia's got somebody over the left-hand side.
Hi there. Question for Paul. Let me just start by saying something you've heard 100 times before, best run club in the Premier League. So just to get the flattery in.
Now comes a difficult question, right?
No, so my question is about basically queues for food and drink at half time, and I don't know, to what extent this has come up before, but it's kind of a thing that I've sort of thought and seen for a while. Is it's difficult. You're always in a queue. We're right on the end of an aisle, happily our seats, and if we jump out when the half-time whistle goes, you can still be queuing for food when the second half starts. And I think there's two things for that. One is, I believe the club's leaving money on the table in that way in terms of turnover, but there's also a footballing aspect to it as well, where you get less people, less support in the stadium for the last few minutes of the first half, the first few minutes of the second half. And you were talking about obviously the 12th man aspect of the club, and I just I wonder if there's an opportunity there. If you could increase the speed of service by 10 or 20%, I think you could have an impact on the finances and the football.
Well, first of all, thank you. I 100% agree with you. But this is one of the conundrums that football clubs up and down the country face, because we have a limited period in which to serve. We have limited space in which to serve. We're constantly under pressure for wider menus with different products and different choices. And the reality is, the bigger the choice, the longer the decision. The longer the decision, the slower the service. The slower the service, the bigger the queue. And the impact is what you say. The other challenge is, of course, is that we can't sell everything, in the quantities that we love to. Some things sell out really quickly. We have to try and judge weather. We have to try and judge demand. We have to try and judge what we've sold before on a particular day and what the weather's going to be like. A sudden change in the weather, everyone wants cold drinks if it's hot, warm drinks if it's cold. If they don't like the pie of the day, they want a hot dog, so hot dogs sell out quickly. It's very, very difficult for any catering company in a stadium to judge demand. And the other problem always is, if things sell out, everyone expects us to be able to replenish them, and we can't do that at half time. If you think about how busy the concourses are, trying to move products through concourses when they're packed is impossible. And because of the nature of this stadium and the design of the way the concessions are, we can only store a limited amount of things. So it is a real challenge. And we are constantly looking at ways. So we've introduced those areas where you can go in with your phone and set up an account where you can just take the beer and it charges you on the way out. So they're there. We've looked at pouring beer in advance, and then we get a flood of complaints that the beer's flat and I want it poured fresh when I arrive. So we pour it fresh when people arrive, and then they say the queues are too long and can you pour it in advance? So we pour it in advance, then the queues... Yeah, you get the drift. It's difficult, but your point is well made. And believe me, we don't like leaving money on the table. We definitely don't like the stadium emptier than it needs to be. So we will keep looking at it, and I promise you, we'll keep looking for solutions. Thank you.
Thanks very much indeed. You're listening to the Albion Pre-Season Fans Forum live on BBC Radio Sussex and on the club's YouTube channel. We're already nearly a third of the way through, so just goes to show how quickly things go. So let's try and keep those questions nice and tight. I'm sure this one's going to be a good one there with Adrian.
Question for Hurzeler. Who was...
You can call him Fabian, I'm sure.
Who was your football idol growing up?
Again?
Who was your football idol growing up?
It's a really good question.
Just so we can see you, that's it. Perfect. There you go.
My football idol, so I really like Ballack. If you know him, he's a German player. So I don't know if he's famous. He played for Chelsea, so he was... Yeah, I know.
I know. One of the few players they didn't buy from us, actually.
They probably tried.
He was a player I really followed, and I followed also Kaká. You know Kaká? Yes, from AC Milan when he played there. He was one of my idols. So what I always did when I was young, I tried to go to the internet when my parents allowed it to me, and then I watched on YouTube some videos from them, and then I saw some skills and some techniques from them, and I try to copy them on the pitch. So that's what I can suggest to you, if your parents allow to use only short time the internet. But then you go outside, no PlayStation, no PlayStation. So immediately on the pitch and train.
I think we should ask you who your footballing idol is. What do you reckon?
Messi.
Messi. He's all right. Paul, if you could sort that one out. I think he's still playing. No problem. Get him in, no problem. Okay, lovely. Right, let's head back down to this near side on the second row.
My question's for Fabian, and given we are playing Wolfsburg on Saturday and they are a German side, do you know them well, and would you consider playing a different formation or setting different tactics?
Really good question. I know them well, yes. So I know some players from them. I think they have a new coach now, so they have a new style of play. In general, I can answer this question that we always try to focus on us. So we always try to go on the pitch and bring our style of play on the pitch, no matter against who we are playing. So it's not that we adapt regarding our tactics a lot. It's really that the players should believe in their own quality, that the players should believe in their style of play, that the players should believe, and we should give them this confidence that if they play on the highest level, with the principles we try to train, if they try to have the highest effort on the pitch, then they're able to beat everyone. And it's the same attitude like we will go on Saturday into the game. So sticking to our principles. Of course, we try to adjust some small little things. But overall, we want to focus on us. Overall, we always have to believe to beat everyone with our style of play. And that's why that's the focus, how we go into these games. And that's also how we will try to approach the game against Wolfsburg.
Another really good question. Okay, just around the central aisle there.
Hi, a question for Fabian. When you were in Germany, obviously the playing style was probably quite different. How have you had to adapt your coaching style for the Premier League?
I would say that it's that different. So the principles I worked with at St. Pauli and in my previous clubs are the same like I work here, of course. I think in life it's always about adjusting and adapting. So you have like a base of principles you're working with. So a base of style of play that will always stay the same. But then it's also adjusting to the profile of the players you have here, adjusting to the demands from the Premier League. And the Premier League is the best league in the world. So you always have to be ready to adjust small things. You're always ready to adapt small things. And that's the same like I try to do here in Brighton. Of course, we have much better players here. We have a great quality in the squad. They do amazing things to players. So in the end, I always say it's a players' game. So you need to give the players like some small helps and advices, but in the end, you need to give need to give the players the confidence and the belief that if they are playing on the highest level, they can do incredible things, and that's what I try to do, because I know that in the end, the players need to perform on the pitch, and I'm not more important than they are. They are the most important. So I need to be that guy who helps them and advise them. And then I think the quality does the rest, and I think we have great quality here.
Okay, great question. Right, just into the middle on there, next to Sophia there.
This is a question for Paul. Sorry, I feel like getting all the tricky questions here, but this is to do with season tickets. So ever since I've been a Brighton fan, long waiting list season tickets, but this season, a lot of advertising campaigns about people buying them. Seems the demand's quite low compared to previous seasons.
Not really.
Is it not? Okay.
No, I mean, we've extended the number of season tickets that are available, so we want to try and fill out the stadium easier throughout the season. So we've extended the number that's available. The renewal rate was around 92%, 93%. So you've got to fill that little bit of a gap. But no, demand is good. And again, I think if we have another good season and hopefully, as Fabian says, put a trophy on the cabinet, then those people with a season ticket can look forward to another European campaign maybe. So, but no, I mean, it's, we've extended the capacity a little bit in places, as we always try and do, a few seats here and there, and that will continue. But no, demand is good, thank you.
Okay, right, just down the main corridor.
Hello, I'm Gwyn. Paul, why are you always selling our best players? We just sold João Pedro. He made an immediate impact playing for Chelsea. Have you got this sort of special relationship with Chelsea that sell our best
Very
players?
special. As I've said many times, they're my best customer.
The question.
The reality is that pretty much every club in the world is a selling club at the right price, and anyone that says any different is not someone that really understands football. And the reality of our business model has always been that we will buy young players, we'll hire the best possible coaching staff to develop them, we'll give them the chance to play in the first team, and then when the right time is right for the player but also the club, then we will negotiate the best possible deal, and we will build our club sustainably like that, because we can't always rely on Tony to fill in the gaps. And the only gaps in a football club usually are financial gaps. We have to build a football club that stands on its own 2 feet, is less reliant on a single person basically paying the bills. And in order for a club of our size to do that, we need to have a healthy player trading strategy, and we've got one. And the key to it is to make sure that we don't ever leave our coaching staff with a squad that isn't capable of competing. And that's the real trick, because any football club can sell players, and some of the best ones can sell them profitably, but you've still got to leave your coaches with a good squad to work with, and that's what we try and do every year. And I think, we're in a period now in the Premier League, this will be our 9th consecutive season. I think we're getting the balance just about right. As always, there are times when you'd rather keep a player for a bit longer, but players also have demands and ambitions and hopes and dreams for the future. So there's always a balancing act between what a player wants, what the coach wants, what the club needs, what other clubs are interested in doing at a particular point in time. And the job that Tony and I have with the technical staff is to judge the right moment to sell. And that's sometimes not that easy. We wish João well. And, Chelsea have got loyalty points with me. They keep coming back, so they're doing okay. But as always, we want to make sure the most important thing is we've got a competitive squad for Fabian to work with.
Okay, just after 7:30, less than 30 minutes left of the fans forum. Let's head back there to Sophia.
Hi, I'm Danny. This is actually a question from my nephew for Fabian. If you could sign any player in the world, who would it be?
Thanks for that.
Young lad, I would say Messi.
We definitely can't afford Messi.
No, I'm happy with the squad I have. So I'm really happy to work with them. They're all great guys, great characters, big potential, and I'm really enjoying the work with them.
Okay, there we go. Okay, just with the man with the cap on.
Oh, good evening, gentlemen. Yeah, thank you very much. Questions for Paul, please. I'm going to try and roll together 2 very quick questions that are related.
Okay, but keep it tight.
Yeah, thanks. Well, first of all, you do look younger in the flesh, Paul, yes. First of all, this isn't a complaint because we have this fabulous new home now, not new anymore, but we're all aware of the transport issues, obviously, around the trains and the buses, particularly after evening matches. So first part of the question, please, is there anything that's kind of been done over the summer or is going to be done this season to try and improve that aspect? And then the second question is also linked. We obviously know how expensive train tickets are, and we've got some very far places to travel to this season. Last season we had this discount partnership with Trainline, where there was a discount code you could use. Is that something that could be maybe done more frequently this season? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as I've said many times before, I know you're bored with me saying it, we don't run train or bus companies. So, when it comes to travel after games, we're reliant on our partners, Southern, British, Brighton, Hove buses, to do whatever they can to put the right rolling stock on at the right time. It's very, very difficult for us to influence that. I mean, people think that we're big customers, but relatively speaking, we're not. We rely on those trains 19, 20 times a year. And they're limited as well as to what they can do by, the various bodies that govern how they operate. So we will always push them to get you the best possible service we can. But in terms of how much of that we can control, it's tiny. And the way we can help you is, if there are no public trains or public transport on Boxing Day, we try and avoid a home game on Boxing Day. You know, that's how we can try and help. We can't control midweek fixtures. We can't control 2 p.m. on a Sunday fixtures or anything like that. In terms of discounts, again, we'll always look to find ways of helping you where we can by pushing promotional offers if we find them and can get them. If there's one part of the new independent regulator's remit that I really hope he takes on, is helping fans get to and from away games, and the train companies not ripping you off. And you know, we can't, as I've said before, control when fixtures are moved for TV purposes, but I do think the regulator should put pressure on train companies to make sure you can get the best possible deal whenever that game is played, whatever time it's played. And just as importantly, there should be services to get you home from those games if there are inconvenient times. And although I'm not a fan of regulation for football, I do believe David Cogan, who will be the regulator, is a good appointment, someone who understands football. I've already had one meeting with him, and these are the sorts of things that I want to push onto his agenda. You know, we don't need to be told by a regulator to not change our colours from blue to red. We're not going to do that. Who would do that? Maybe 1 or 2 clubs, but not us. You know, we don't need to be told to keep our stadium in Brighton and Hove. We don't need to be told to keep the prices as competitive as we can for you to be able to afford to come to games. But we do need the regulator to help us with things we can't control, and transport to and from games, the services that train companies provide, the prices they charge are things out of our control, but that he can put pressure on to help with. So I hope we can see some improvement for you over the next 12 months.
Okay, another question just there.
Good evening. Question for Paul. It's from my 9-year-old daughter who can't be here tonight. The family fun days, thoroughly enjoy them. We come every time we get the opportunity. However, is there any chance that we can get back down to the lower seats to enjoy it, as opposed to washing it from up the top here?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Unfortunately, quite a few adults spoilt that for the kids by, you know, bringing 20 shirts to sign and all these sorts of things, made it very difficult. And there were times when kids were getting crushed, pushed, shoved. That's not what Family Fun Days are about. So the most important thing is we keep those events as safe as we can for the kids, so they can see as much as possible and feel like they can be safe. And as you know, what we try and do so the kids can still get their autographs and their photographs is we have special sessions around the Family Fun Day to allow that. I'd love to be able to trust everyone to let the kids enjoy it and to sort of not do some of the things that we've seen in the past. But we have to balance the accessibility to the players and the coaches with the safety of the kids. And I wouldn't want it on my conscience for one kid to get a serious injury from some of the things we've seen in the past. So it's a balancing act. We'll keep it under review. We'll keep talking to our safety people. And the most important thing is we want the kids to have a great time. So, of course, we'll keep looking at it.
Okay, just about 20 minutes. We'll go right to the back of the room, then we'll try and, there's a few down here, but do keep your hands up. We'll just try and keep them tight, because then we can try and squeeze everybody in.
Question for Fabian. If you make any more big surprise signings for the rest of the transfer window, if you do, consider Endrick.
Well, there you go. Yeah. He's not bad.
We will consider it.
He's not messy, but, you know.
It's a great advice.
Okay,
Thanks a
yeah.
lot.
Adrian, if you come down...
I hope Tony is looking as well.
I'm not sure what that means we're going to get any secret signings coming up, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, here we go, just there.
Yes, good evening. Question for Paul. Can you just remind us what the time frame is for the safe standing completion and also the movement of the away fans from behind the south goal?
Yeah. Those of you that have been looking out the window tonight, you'll see a lot of the safe standing is in the north stand, so that's all good. We'll keep working around the stadium with the plans for further safe standing at the other end for away fans and moving the away fans. That's the big job, because we've got to relocate people out of the Heineken lounge, because the new away seating will go up into that area of the stadium. So the seating will extend into where that lounge is at the moment. Once that's done, then we obviously need to relocate people from the corner down there, because that's the next part of the process. And from that point onwards, then, you'll start to see, I think, a different dynamic in the stadium. It's always bugged me that when you come to the Amex, even though we only give 10% for Premier League games to the visiting fans, it always feels like they've got 25% because of the way our stadium has been designed and configured. I'm really confident that by moving them in the area that we're moving them to, it will feel more like it is when we go away from home for the most part. And those 3,000 away fans will be marginalised in terms of the impact they have on our team and our stadium. So that work is going to take another, I guess, 2 to 3 seasons to complete. It's not a quick process, and that's something which we have to do sort of methodically, not just in terms of the fan movements, but in terms of the construction and when we can actually construct, because we're very, very limited each summer as to how much work we can do, and therefore we have to plan and schedule it very, very carefully.
Okay, down on the near side of the front row.
Hi,
just
Fabian.
talk.
Hi, Fabian. Hi, Paul. This was mainly for Paul, but Fabian, feel free to chime in if you want. I just want to talk about atmosphere. So, Big Six games, Tottenham, Manchester United, Manchester City, really great atmosphere in the Amex, but I feel sometimes you get to the middle of a season, and for where I am, East Stand, it kind of drops off a bit. So, I know we've got the safe standing coming in, but what other ways are you doing to improve the atmosphere in the stadium?
Fair point. Definitely one that the fan advisory board have been engaged with and are involved in. As Tony and I have said many times, the atmosphere is yours. We're not going to introduce goal music. I'm not a great fan of drums or trumpets. It is really down to you guys. And obviously it's a symbiotic relationship, isn't it? The team playing well obviously helps the atmosphere, but there are times when the team's having a tough time when the atmosphere can help the team. So it needs to come both ways, and we're completely open-minded when this new South Stand end is created for home fans as to how we make that atmosphere really sing from the south to the north and back again and everything in the middle. And we'll involve the fan advisory board on relocating singers. People that want to sing, people that want to make noise. If they want to stand together in safe standing area at the south end, brilliant. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to force that. We're not going to force the atmosphere because it's evolving over time. And there, as you know, and as you've said, sometimes the atmosphere is amazing and other times it's not. But then I've been to pretty much every stadium in the UK and many, many overseas, and it's the same. Sometimes you go there and it's brilliant. Sometimes you go there and it's not so good. Some clubs are better than others. And, we're still evolving. This stadium's, going into its 15th season. It's evolving quite nicely. But anything you can do, any ideas you've got, we're all ears.
Fabian, did you want to mention something about the atmosphere and obviously that relationship with play and the crowd and maybe your experiences in Germany as well?
Germany, they're singing for 90 minutes, so it's a completely different atmosphere. I would say that it's also our responsibility on the pitch. So I think it's always a transfer, which energy you bring on the pitch, which intensity you bring on the pitch, what really transfers then to you in the end. And when you mentioned the middle of the season, I had the same feeling, but I think also in the middle of the season we didn't play our best games. So overall I think it's togetherness. Of course there can be in some moments like a louder support, a more energetic support, but I think on the other side it's also our responsibility on the pitch to make this happen, to have this energy on the pitch, this intensity that you on the stands, you couldn't do it. You have to support us, you have to be loud, you have to shout, you have to criticize the referee, you have to, don't throw things on the pitch, but I think that's a little bit where we have to get to. We have to develop a stadium where no other teams want to come there and want to play against us. And I think it's our style of play, but it's also like how we act on the stands. And I think everyone is responsible for that. It's not only finger pointing on each other. I think it's really like trying to find solutions for this together with implementing stuff during the game, with having some actions before or after the game that we stay longer. I think the terrace helped a lot, that not every fan is leaving. in the 85th minute when it's still a 0-0 or a 1-1. So I think every support until the last minute helps us. We recognize it on the pitch. So I recognize on the sideline, the players recognize it on the pitch when the crowd is leaving. And I think in this season we proved it that we never give up. So we always have to believe we can turn around games or we can finish the game well. And I think that's something what we should have as a takeaway from the last season. And I think there also the terrace really helped, like that the fans stay until the end, support us until the end, and then afterwards we can celebrate the win together, or we can be angry and critical when we have a loss. I think that's also part of the game. Like what I always said is football is not always nice and happy clappy. Like when I get criticized after a big loss against Nottingham, it's the right thing. So that's football, and I have to deal with it. But overall, it should be always like a togetherness, and we should really have this vision inside of us that we want to be that club and also that stadium where no one wants to go, where it will be difficult on the pitch to beat us, and it will be really ugly when you do stupid things on the pitch against our supporters. And I think that's something what we should build together.
Okay. I know a lot of people have really enjoyed the terrace this year, so we'll have a full season of the terrace, so that could help as well. Another question just down there in the three, and that's it, yeah.
Hi, my name's Adri. I just want to ask, compliment the atmosphere, because the past year, yourself, Fabian, and Dario have really come together to support each other. So last season you supported Dario and the girls, and I've also seen Dario here at the Amex with some of the girls supporting you, sometimes in the Premier League. Is that going to continue? Because I just love that you know that you supported each other. It's always a bit difficult for you and the boys, because obviously if you're playing 5:00 and then you're in the press at 5:30, and then obviously you get home at 8:00, you can't always, for the next day. But obviously last year it really worked, so I just wanted to compliment that, and are we going to see more of that? Are you going to support Dario more? Because I'm sure he'll be here as well, whenever he's got a chance.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. I will continue supporting the girls. I will continue supporting the academy, because I mentioned one word before, was togetherness. And I think you can mention the word togetherness, or you can show behavior that means togetherness. And I think that's a behavior we all have, or we all should do, like supporting each other, being there for each other in good and in bad times. So for sure, if I have the schedule and the day off where I can support the girls or the under 21, I will go and watch. But not only because I want to support them. Honestly, I'm also interested in. So I was watching the Europe from the women. I was really interested in. So when congrats to you as a country. So well done. When Germany was out of the tournament, I was a big supporter of England. So. Therefore, I'm really happy for you that you won it, that you won something.
Yeah, that was incredible. And just to say, we can confirm that we will be doing a second annual pre-season fans forum for the women's team at the beginning of September. So I'd encourage everyone to come along to that. I think last season we did our inaugural one. I think, as far as I'm aware, no other club has actually done something on that scale before. So congratulations to the club for doing it, and I hope everyone supports the women in that respect as well before their WSL season as well. Okay, got a question just at the back next to the camera.
I'm Beryl, I'm 83, and I'm wearing a football shirt for the first time in my life.
Hey! It looks very, very good, Beryl. That colour suits you.
But what I really wanted to ask is, I'm in the front row of the Upper West. I never go until the last player has left the pitch, but I never see the players or Fabian looking up to acknowledge us.
Now you're in trouble. Beryl's got your number.
First of all, you're a role model for all the others. That you didn't leave, so well done. Second of all, so I'm a bad loser, so when I lose games, I'm not really happy. And when I win games, I always say it's the players' game, so the players should earn the support from you and the support from you. And that's why I try to take care of you when I know where you exactly will sit.
Beryl, if you could draw a map for Paul later, then he can hand it on to Fabian and we can try and sort something out.
But I will greet you now from now on for every game, no matter if you lose or win. So I will take care of this because you were the first time a Brighton shirt, so I have to support this. So it's a give and a get.
Yeah,
so we
give
will
and
do
take.
this.
Yeah.
And Beryl, can I just say, even though you didn't say it to me, you look much younger in the flesh.
Great question. Thanks very much, Beryl. Okay, just down on the front, second row.
There's reports in the press tonight that Man United are exploring a deal for Carlos Baleba. As a player, how high do you think his ceiling is? How far along do you feel he is on that journey currently? And do you feel this would be the right time to sell him? And
Paul?
Paul, it's your turn.
Never has there been a quicker pass sideways, has there? Well, look, we've got some great talent. There's always going to be interest in our players. Manchester United have not been in touch with me. So, you know, from that point of view, speculation. We will always, as I said earlier, you know, try and make sure that we sell our best players at the right time, not just for the player, but also for us. And if we end up doing that with any player, it was with the view to leaving Fabian with a very competitive squad, whatever happens. But, you know, we don't want to sell our best players. Carlos is a fantastic talent. He's got a lot of years ahead of him. And, you know, we hope he will be here for many years to come. But, you know, it's something that, as always, is subject to the dynamics of the football world, which is not always predictable.
Okay, less than 10 minutes to go, so we'll try and do a few rapid-fire ones. We've got one here that's via interpreter for is it for Matt or is it for
It's
his
for
mum?
Melody.
It's for
Hi,
Melody.
good
Okay.
evening. My name is Melody. I have a question for Fabian, please. So I was just looking and wondering, if you signed a new player in the future who wasn't native speaking English, spoke a different language, how would you communicate with them? What's your response to that?
So I learned the last year Spanish. I learned French at school, and I tried to speak quite a little bit English and a little bit German. So overall, I was happy with my education. So I'm able of speaking 4 languages. And then there's the football language. So I think football has its own language. So we try to really give the player the help that he gets implemented and integrated into the squad as quick as possible. And language and communication is a big part of it. So I try to do it with my language, language skills. And then on top of that, I think the club has like a lot of people who really take care of the players, who try to translate things, who try to give the players like lessons that they can learn as quick as possible English, because it's also very helpful that the new players learn the English language. And I think that's one of our principles, that every player who comes here should take lessons if he doesn't speak English. So overall, we try to make it happen as a team. We have great staff members who really try to support the players, and I try as well my best.
Great stuff. Okay. Question down here on the left with Adrian.
Fabian, you had a good first season in the Premier League, hopefully another good one. But what is your ambition for this season?
That's a really good question. So I always have higher ambitions on my own. I always try to build on the foundation we built in the last season, and of course I always want to aim higher, and that's what I try to live. That's what where I try to be a role model for the players, for the club. So we always have like this top 10 goal, but for sure we want to aim for Europe. And I always think that you need to commit to something, because if you don't commit to something in life, then inside of your thinking, you have to thinking, oh, I can't reach it. So you have to commit to something. That means you promise yourself to never give up. And I'm not afraid of everything. I don't have fear, because if you try to do your best every day, if you try to be the best person you can be every day, if you try to have the highest work ethic and the highest effort for this club and for the players, then you can fail. Of course you can fail, but you need to try it, and you need to show the right work ethic, and it starts with commitment. So my ambitions are high, the expectations from the club are high, from the owners it's high, from Paul is high, but that's football, and that's what I want to have. I want to have this pressure, and the players want to feel this pressure, and therefore we try to commit ourselves to the goals from the club, but for sure we have also internal goals we want to reach.
Okay, 5 minutes to go. We just take a question down here at the front, and then Paul's just going to mention something as well that I want to squeeze in before 8 o'clock.
London. I've got a quick question for Fabian and one very quickly for Paul. Fabian, you've been here just over a year now. What have you liked the most so far in Sussex, and what surprised you the most from your time here? And the question to Paul is, who's winning? Who's got the crown at paddle between the two of you?
So living in Sussex.
What I like the most, living here or in this club?
You're just saying living here, aren't you? Yeah.
Living, yeah.
Life in Sussex.
The diversity from the people, and how respectful they treat me. So I always try to get in touch with them. So when I'm out in a restaurant, when I'm out in a bar and having a drink, I also do sometimes these things. So I always meet people who are very friendly or very open-minded, who treat me very respectful, and I really appreciate that. And second of all, I like this diversity. So you have young, old, you have so many different cultures here. And that's what I really like, because I also have it in my team. I have like so many players from different cultures. And I think the most important thing, we're all human beings. And we all have to treat each other in the same way, in a respectful way. And I think this city, with the people, they really are role models for these things. And I think last weekend there was the Brighton the Bright Festival, and I was also there, and I enjoyed it being there and seeing this diversity of Brighton. I think that makes this city, and I think also this club, very special. And of course also the respect I earned from the people here, because when you lose 7-0, you can also be faced in a different way, in a much more rude way. And of course there were some critical feedbacks, but it always stays respectful, and I think that's something what I really appreciate. And the second question, I give to...
I'll give that one to Paul, because I know Paul wants to quickly mention we've got a couple of minutes left.
On the paddle,
who wins the panel?
Well, on the paddle front, we're normally partners, and we win some, we lose some. We got beaten last night, unfortunately, but we're a good partnership, because he's young and good looking, and I'm not young, I'm not good looking. But no, we tend to play together more often than not, and it's great fun. If you haven't tried paddle, try it. It's fantastic.
Are we going to have paddle courts at the new stadium? Come on, you haven't mentioned it yet. I know we're going to have the women's forum coming up, but very quick.
Very quickly, yeah. We just want to let you know that we're very, very close to making an announcement on the new women's stadium, which we're. So look out for that over the course of the next week or so. We're very excited about the plans for that, because it will be, we believe, the first purpose-built women's stadium in the whole of Europe, if not the world. So that will be very special.
Well, if it's anything like this one, I think we've got a lot to look forward to, that's for sure. That's about it for this evening, I'm afraid. Yes, it does go very, very quickly indeed, but thanks very much to everybody for all their questions this evening. I know that Fabian, because he likes life in Sussex, is going to shoot off in a minute, because I think he's taking everyone out, all the staff out. I'm not sure whether that includes all of us, but I'll have a word and we'll see whether he can. But Paul may be around for a short while to answer any individual questions that you may well have. Just now to say, well, good luck to Fabian and everybody involved at the club, of course, for the new season. And of course, I've got to have a selfish plug that every game, of course, will be live on BBC Radio Sussex and on the club's website as well. But thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Fabian. I'll see you soon. I know you're going out, so you wanted to... Yeah, do you want to...